Today I'm going to be testing out TikTok's most viral healthy dessert recipes to see if they're actually worth making. This first recipe is for healthy Biscoff cheesecakes. This video has 1.8 million views and the cheesecakes have 103 calories and 6 grams of protein per serving. She starts off by adding in 1 egg, then light cream cheese, then yogurt. I'm using Greek yogurt. Then she adds in 1/4 cup of granulated sweetener. I'm going to use stevia today. And 1/2 tablespoon of corn flour. And then she just whisks them all together. This is nice and easy. Now she pours her mixture into a muffin mold. I don't actually know how many she made, so I'm just gonna fill and see how we get on. She cooks hers for 20 minutes, lets them set and then chills them. So I'm gonna come back to these to add the topping and do the taste test at the end. This next recipe is for healthy cookie dough fudge and it has 5.1 million views. She says it's an easy, healthy dessert recipe that doesn't require an oven. It's only 4 ingredients and only 1 bowl. You literally just stir everything together. So I think I'm gonna like this one. Let's just hope it tastes good. So she starts by adding her peanut butter to a bowl. Then she adds in some maple syrup. I should have just taken the lid off. Then she adds in some coconut oil, which is melted and cooled, and she stirs this all together. I'm not exactly sure what the macros are for these ones. I don't actually think she put it on her video, but I can't imagine this one's super high in protein. Now she adds in some chocolate chips. I'm just gonna stir these in. Now she scoops her mix into a lined tin. Now I'm just smoothing this out to the edges. There we go, and she also tops it with more chocolate chips. That looks good, and she also adds a sprinkle of flaky salt as well. Perfect, that looks really good. It smells really nice as well. So she now says to put it in the freezer for 1 to 2 hours until it's firm. So I'm gonna do that, and we'll come back to this one to do the taste test. I'm really looking forward to this one. Next up, we're making a healthy brownie mug cake, and this video has over 5.8 million views. She says it's low sugar and gluten-free, and because it's gluten-free, she uses oat flour instead of regular flour. I actually don't have oat flour, so I'm gonna make my own. I'm gonna grind up some oats in my food processor. So she actually uses 1/2 cup of oat flour. So I've had to do a little bit of maths to make sure we get the same volume. So this is 46 grams of oats. I'm gonna grind them down and then it should equal 1/2 cup of oat flour. Okay, now she adds 1/2 banana to a bowl, but this is a very small banana, so I feel like we should just add the whole banana in here. And then she mashes this up with a fork. Oh, slippery banana. Okay, that looks sufficiently mashed. Then she adds in an egg. Oh no, I have shell. Then she adds 1/4 cup of milk and she mixes this together. Okay, now she adds in her dry ingredients, so in with our oat flour, a tablespoon of cocoa powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. And then she mixes these all in. Now I'm pretty sure she pours hers into 1 big ramekin, but I feel like I've got a lot of mixture here and this is the biggest ramekin I have. So I'm gonna split mine into 2. Okay, they look pretty even. So now she just adds some chocolate chunks to the top. Okay, and then she bakes them in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes. So I'm gonna do that and then we'll be back to do the taste test. Okay, these are fresh out the oven and the ramekins are actually still quite warm, so I'm not gonna pick it up, but I'm gonna dig in and we'll do a taste test. First impression, maybe it looks a little bit dry, but I'm gonna reserve my judgment until I've tasted it. That's not dry. It's very moist. I actually really like that. It tastes like chocolate banana bread. Texture, I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. Taste, I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. So in total, I'm gonna give that an 8 out of 10. I think that's really good. Next up, we're gonna be making a date cake. And this video has over 11.2 million views. Now, I don't actually know what she called it. I don't think she actually gave it a name, so I'm calling it a date cake because that's exactly what it looks like, but this actually looks really good. So she starts off by adding 15 dates to a bowl. 7, 8, again. And then she adds a cup of warm milk. And then she just leaves it for 20 minutes to allow the dates to soften. So we'll fast forward to 20 minutes. Okay, so our dates have now softened in our milk. So now she blends them. Okay, so far so good. And then I'm gonna put in the dates. I feel like this is the safest way to do this. Okay, that was successful. And now I'm gonna blend them until smoothish. Okay, that wasn't quite as successful. It's fine. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, that looks pretty blended to me. Maybe I should have used my other blender rather than my food processor, but it did the job. It just made a bit of a mess. Okay, now I'm gonna pour our mixture back into our bowl. Now she adds in plain flour, baking powder, bicarbonate of soda, 2 eggs. Should I see if I can crack these both at the same time? This is a recipe for disaster. And then some chopped walnuts. And she also adds in some chocolate chips. Now, for some reason, I don't really fancy adding chocolate chips into this, but I feel like I should add a few because she does. So I'm gonna add in a small amount of chocolate chips. And then she stirs it all together. Now she pours her batter into a loaf tin, and then she adds extra walnuts to the top and some extra chocolate chips as well. That looks really good. So now she bakes it in the oven for 30 to 35 minutes. So I'm gonna go bake it, and then we'll be back to do the taste test. Our date cake is now out the oven. It's still quite warm, so I'm gonna take it out and I'm gonna taste test it warm. I'm quite pleased with how this turned out, you know. I think it looks quite pretty. So I've got my bread knife. Let's slice ourselves a piece. Do I eat the end piece or do I go for a middle piece? I think I wanna go for a middle piece. Feels nice and soft. It doesn't feel exactly like a banana bread would, but let's give it a go. It's not bad. The texture is actually really nice, especially when it's warm. It's super soft and fluffy and it feels quite light. I would just say it's lacking in flavor a little bit. I'm not really getting that much flavor from it at all. Like I can taste the chocolate chips and I can taste the walnuts, but other than that, there's not really much there. Like maybe I would have added some cinnamon, maybe some vanilla. Okay, so texture, I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. Taste, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. I like it, it just needs more. So overall, I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. Next, we're gonna be making a strawberry slushie, and this video has over 10.5 million views. So she starts by adding in 2 cups of ice, and that is 1 cup. And then I've also got 3 heart-shaped ice cubes in here. So I'm assuming that this is gonna make up our other cup, hopefully. Then she adds in a cup of frozen strawberries. Then she adds the juice of half a lemon. Then she adds a teaspoon of sweetener. I'm gonna use honey. And a cup of cold water. And then she just blends it all together. This actually looks really good. I feel like the texture looks amazing, like a real slushie. Right, let's pour this into our glass. I really think this looks pretty good, and I love the color as well. She also adds a fresh strawberry to the edge of her glass. I'm just gonna push that on like that. And our straw. This feels like a summer cocktail that you drink on a beach. Let's give it a taste test. It's definitely refreshing. It's not bad. I find it a little bit watery. I would maybe want a tiny bit more strawberry flavor, less watery flavor, and maybe like a tiny bit more sweetness as well. So maybe a tablespoon of honey rather than a teaspoon. So texture, I think we nailed the slushy texture here. So I'm gonna give that a 9 out of 10. Taste, I do think it's lacking. So I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. So what would that equal out as? I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. Next, we're making a healthy chocolate mousse, and this video has over 18.6 million views, and I believe it's gonna be one of the easiest recipes we'll make today. So she starts off with some yogurt. I'm using Greek yogurt. Then she adds some cocoa powder, which I can never get the lid off of. 2 to 3 tablespoons, she says. I think 2 will probably be enough here. And then 1 to 2 tablespoons of maple syrup or honey. So I'm gonna be using honey today. And then she just stirs it together. Okay, that looks good. So now she pours hers into like a cute little jar, but I'm gonna try pouring mine into a glass. I feel like it will kind of give the same effect. So I didn't have quite enough to fill up my glass, but I still feel like it looks pretty good. And it's the taste that matters at the end of the day, isn't it? Then she also adds some sliced strawberries around the edge, which I thought looked really cute. So that's what I'm gonna do. Now that was super quick and easy, so I really hope this one tastes good. You know what? I was skeptical that this wasn't gonna taste like chocolate mousse, but it has so much cocoa powder in, it actually really does taste really chocolatey and chocolate mousse-like. Okay, texture, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. It's really delicious. Taste, I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. So I'm gonna give it in total an 8.75 out of 10. Our cookie dough fudge is now set. It had about 2 hours in the freezer, and then I've just left it at room temperature for about 10 minutes because I don't want it to be so hard that it hurts my teeth. Definitely has a fudge-like texture. Now, the bit we've all been waiting for, or I've been waiting for, the taste test. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. It tastes like a Reese's. It's sweet, it's peanut buttery, it's chocolatey, a little bit salty. Taste and texture, I'm giving that 10s all round. This is my favorite one yet. We are back to finish our Biscoff cheesecake. So they're fully cooled now. They've been in the fridge for a couple of hours. As you can see, mine have really shrunk and kind of shriveled. But like I said, it's not about how they look, it's about how they taste. So, let's decorate one with Biscoff. So I've got some melted Biscoff spread here, and she says to put a teaspoon on the top. So about that much. Mine is just gonna puddle in the middle, isn't it? Let's try and spread out to the edges a little bit. To be fair, I am not against a puddle of Biscoff in the middle of my cheesecake. Then I just crushed up some Biscoff biscuits in their little packet here. Just gonna sprinkle some Biscoff crumbs around the edge of our cheesecake. There we go, I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna skip the spoon and I'm just gonna go straight in for a bite. Let's give it a taste test. That's actually pretty good. The Biscoff spread really adds to the flavor here. I think without it, maybe they'd be too plain, but the texture is good, the flavor is good. I would say they're a tiny bit watery, but that could be my fault. I'm gonna give the texture a 7 out of 10, and I'm gonna give the taste an 8.5 out of 10. So in total, let's give it an 8 out of 10. I really like these, like I like everything else. So I feel like this has been pretty successful. Definitely more successful than the last testing healthy dessert recipe video that I did. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments section what recipes you'd like me to test next, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.